a dad movie?
Yeah.
You know, what is a if when we were growing up, for instance, like what is a movie that our dad or a neighbor's dad would have? So stuff like the Andromeda Strain or Moonraker. It's just sort of like, yeah, dads.
Dads love that shit.
Yeah, dads that were born in the 50s, were super into that kind of stuff. And then some of it was, you know, stuff that we liked or remembered from when we were growing up. Like, you will know that Carlo was involved in making this game because Beetlejuice and RoboCop are are on a VHS tape. That's most of what you need to know about Carlo.
That's true.
Right there.
Interesting, more Easter eggs.
So here's one of Dad's pulpy JFK books. He's now moved on from primary sources to theories about how JFK was killed. However, this one purports to contain the truth. Yeah, the publishing company is a doofy inside joke because, you know, there's Harcourt Brace, the publisher that exists, and so I was trying to think of a good name for a publisher, and being a big nerd, I immediately thought of Harcourt Fenton Mudd and how he basically sounds like a publishing company. So
You have to say who that is.
no, all right, fine. He's an awful character from
Star Trek.
original Star Trek, which is called Mudd's Women, and also there's another one whose name an episode I can't remember for some reason.
I'm Mudd.
Ah, fuck. Yes. Okay. Thank you.
It's a Star Trek reference. You did
Yes.
it, Carla.
What?
Okay, Star Trek reference.
One of my favorite movies is The Apartment, which was directed by Billy Wilder, and it starred Shirley MacLaine and Jack Lemmon, and it's from like 1960, and it's basically what Mad Men is, except actually from that time.
Yeah.
It's super good, and there's this weird, like, kind of humorous vocal tick that some of the executives in the movie have, where they will refer to something like, they'll say like, "We're doing quite well dividends wise," or something. And Shirley MacLaine's character is named, her last name is Kubelik, and one of the executives at different times says something like, "So how are you getting along Kubelik wise?" So anyway, super deeply buried Easter egg reference in joke. We made the law firm Kubelik and Wise that prepared Oscar's will, just as a little wink and nod, a little Harcourt Fenton.
Quiet, Steve.
But yeah, The Apartment. You should watch it
It's damn worth. It's totally worth your time. It's a really good movie.
on Laserdisc.
Yeah.
Okay, talking about more films. Where else can we find these audio, this commentary? Samantha, please give this to your mother. I can't tell.
When you live in one place your whole life, your next door neighbor is kind of like your default friend. And Daniel only got weirder over the years. So moving away has been a good excuse to, like, not see him anymore. But he did always have the good Nintendo games. Maybe I'll give him a call.
Okay, I wasn't expecting that. Hmm. Let me check my journals. Oh. Okay, we've got more commentary over here. Damn it, stop it with a fucking thunder! K is for kind, A is for amazing, I is for intelligent, T is for talented, L is for light-hearted, I is for important, and N is for nice. Huh? That was weird. Just a bit weird. Well, not really weird, but you get the picture.
I'm so stupid sometimes. I was telling Lonnie that I got into my college summer program thing, and I was all making plans like, you should come visit me, stay in my dorm room. But she said, Sam, I ship out on June 6th. I was like, ship out? To where? She said, to basic training. What did you think I was doing all that ROTC stuff for? I guess she's been planning to join the army right after high school since she was like 12. And I guess she's really going to do it. So I was like, after graduation, I'm just never going to see you again? She said, let's just have fun while we can.
Ah. Alright, let's get up here. What's in here? Oh, good, I'm out of the basement. Oh, no, wait. I don't know this. Pull this handle. And we're in the upstairs. We're upstairs. We're upstairs. It's okay, everyone, we're upstairs. Oh.
So, Christmas Duck. Christmas Duck is a fan favorite. He's kind of a mascot, I guess. And I think that's partly because it's a weird concept, a Christmas duck, and partly because it's like the first unique thing that you encounter in the game. It's kind of personified. He's like a little character. But the thing is, Christmas Duck was not planned. When we were starting the project, we didn't have a 3D modeler because Kate came on a couple months after we started, and we needed a bunch of 3D models. And so I was just going through the Unity asset store. So I was going through the list and saw this Christmas duck, and I was like, "What is that?" Okay, and I grabbed it, and we used it as like a test object just to set up the system where you can grab stuff and carry it around. And then I ended up saying, all right, we got this Christmas duck, I'll hide the key under it. And instead of replacing the free model with a totally different thing, just made a real version of it. And Carla modeled it, and Kate textured it, and we kept him in the game. And we're glad, because he's everybody's little friend. Good old Christmas duck.
Okay.
The Goodfellow High School jacket and the logo generally is a reference to the logo for Minerva's Den, the section of Rapture that DLC takes place in, that we worked on together. But we didn't want to make it look exactly like the owl logo from that game. We wanted it to be, an homage or a reference or whatever.
Yeah, so we decided that since this is a Pacific Northwest school and town and setting, that we would go for some native style representation. And let's see.
Well, actually, we were struggling with it for a little
Yeah.
while because we wanted. At first, I was saying, just make it look like a very 90s looking school mascot logo illustration that's just cheap that maybe one of the students did or something, and the direction wasn't good enough, and we didn't really have a good enough example to work from. And then Kate actually came to visit.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And she suggested, oh, what if it's like a Pacific Northwest Native American style approach, and that really just clicked and made total sense.
Okay. So these guys actually worked hard for this game.
So earlier in an earlier version of the story in Gone Home, Sam and Lonnie got caught together, and Lonnie's dad was like an asshole about it and threatened to send Lonnie to live with her mom in Florida. And we cut that. It was too melodramatic and it wasn't really interesting. It was an external force that was acting on them, which I wasn't super excited about in practice, and so on and so forth. But it caused there to be this concept of Lonnie's mom living in Florida, which
Florida is, of course, the worst place that you can live.
well, let's not assume. But that said, it's the other side of the country, and it's totally so foreign from Oregon and everything. Also, it's where I grew up.
Yeah, that was.
So yes, the reason I think that Lonnie's mom lives in Florida is that I grew up in Florida, and I moved from Florida to Oregon when I was like 19, and I've been back to visit, but if someone were to say to me, "Hey Steve, do you want to go back and live in Florida?" I would take a sheet of notebook paper and I would write "no" on it, as big as you can get, and
With
hand it back to
gravestones.
you. There would be knives, there would be gravestones, there would be
Dead
lightning,
face. Yeah.
big X's in the eyes, vampire teeth for some reason.
I was largely unfamiliar with Florida, and my family started going there every once in a while, or when I was like in high school for Christmas, because my mom hates being cold. And
Pick the wrong goddamn place to live,
I
Mrs.
know.
Zamanja.
Yeah, well, but anyway, the only thing that I remember basically is that everybody had lawn flamingos, and we went around Christmas, so I remember hearing on the radio multiple times dogs barking Christmas carols. That's Florida.
Florida sounds cooler than I remember it being.
In my head, that's Florida, right there.
Wow, that was kind of funny. I mean, the dogs barking Christmas songs.
Most of the bookshelves in the house are filled with undifferentiated books. I mean, they're not undifferentiated, but they're low detail because, God, it would be an entire dev cycle's worth of work to actually do plausible spines on every single book. That would kill us. And then to repeat a whole bunch of books would also be sort of terrible and not be very plausible. So we had chiefly unlabeled books, or books in which the labels have been rubbed off due to age, etc. And we had a few individual books that were more precisely and specifically named.
The way that we did the books in the game is we made like 3 or 4 of these clumps of books that have the generic spines on them. They're just sort of filler books. They're kind of like what would be in the